sourdough brioche burger buns. Let me tell you, making them is quite the journey, but boy oh boy, is it ever worth it. Now, start off with, you want milk. The recipe calls for 260 grams of milk, and what you want to do is you want to scald it, because scalding somehow reduces the enzymes in the milk, and the sourdough starter does not like the enzymes, so you're going to get a much better dough. It's going to be better. So what you do is 260 grams, but since we're going to be bringing it up to 180 degrees to scald it, we want to add like another 30-40 grams before whatever evaporates. What you want to do is you want to get some kind of thermometer, a spoon, stick the thermometer in the milk, and stir until you get to 180 degrees. Now it's that it's at 180 degrees, you want to put it on the counter or in an ice bath and let it cool down to at least around 100 degrees, maybe 90 degrees, because otherwise you're going to kill your starter. Next, the recipe calls for 440 grams of butter, and that's a lot of butter on 1,000 grams of flour. So yeah, so this is 440 grams of flour, and what you want to do is, it's still cold out of the fridge. You want to cut it up into cubes. Then you want to let it sit out on the counter until it comes to room temperature, or you can just nuke it for a minute or so. Let's get started with the brioche dough. So always eggs first. In this recipe, it's 1,000 grams of flour, so this recipe calls for 8 eggs, 260 grams of the scalded milk, 200 grams of active starter, 1,000 grams of flour, 120 grams of sugar, and 20 grams of salt. Now this goes on the mixer with the dough hook. And you want to mix this for about 5 minutes, 8 minutes, until it pretty much comes together. Okay, so now the dough is coming off the sides, sort of started to come off the sides. The reason you want to do that is because you want to have well-developed gluten before you start adding the butter. And now the butter is at room temperature. I nuked it actually for 30 seconds, so just to make sure. And so now you want to add the butter slowly. And after each adding, you want to wait until it's incorporated in the dough, and then you add more butter until all the butter's in there. 440 grams on 1,000 grams of flour. Now that all the butter is incorporated, you want to let it go for maybe 10, who knows how long, 15 minutes, until it really comes together. Okay, so the dough has come together. It took, gosh, I don't even know, 15, 20 minutes, but you know, it doesn't really matter how long it takes, the time. It's going to come together when it wants to come together. And you'll see what I mean. Let me get this thing out of there. Look at that. See how it's come off the sides? And while it was mixing, it was off the bottom of the bowl. And look how beautifully satin this is, this dough. And so this goes into a sealed container for about 5 hours on the counter, and then it goes in the fridge overnight, and then we'll see what happens next. The brioche dough was in the fridge for about 3 days now, and I portioned it out into 100-gram pieces here. It's still cold out of the fridge, and so what I do is I grab one, fold it over a little bit to sort of form a ball, and then roll it in the palm of my hands, and use the bench scraper to lift it up and put it down on the parchment paper here on the baking tray. And then it's going to sit out, and now this is crucial, it's going to sit out on the counter. It's a nice warm day today, 6 hours. If it's cooler where you are, do 7 or even 8 hours. It's going to sit out for 7 or 8 hours, 6 hours here in Ojai today because it's nice. The eggs were on the counter covered for about 6 hours now, and yeah, they've plumped up really nicely. I wouldn't say that they've doubled in size, but they've definitely plumped up. And now I have some beat some eggs here with a little pinch of salt. Now I'm just going to brush them with the egg, makes them really shiny. And we just do 2 here. It also, you can add any kind of seeds. I like to add sesame seeds. Black makes it look really nice, and it also makes the egg wash makes the seeds stick. So this goes, once I'm done here, it's going to go into an oven, 425 degrees for about 20-25 minutes until they're golden brown, and then we'll have brioche buns. The sourdough brioche buns were in the oven for about 25 minutes at 425, and man, they turned out so nice. Look at the golden brown color. They're shiny because of the egg wash, And they're so light. And I'm going to cut into this one here. So soft. Smell awesome. Oh. And boy, let me tell you, these things with a burger, and you're in heaven.